Now on Delve into the archive, we head all the way back to the 17th of May, 1982, to watch a classic episode of the longest running children's TV show in the world, Blue Peter.
Hello, and that was a glimpse of Sarah on the children's ward at St Thomas's Hospital. And you can see how Nurse Green got on a bit later on. But hey, we've just heard some tremendous news. You've probably been watching John Craven's News Round and also heard the marvellous news that our programme editor, Biddy Baxter, has just won a well-deserved award for Distinguished Services to Children's Television. It's the Pye Award, and Sarah, Pete and I are absolutely thrilled to bits for Biddy, and we give you all our love. We're really chuffed. Well, now we've got two familiar faces to show you, one from Britain and one from America. Now, here in Britain, that amazing creator of 3D caricatures has done it again. I wonder if you can guess who I've got behind this cloth. Ta-da! None other than Terry Wogan. Now then, how about that? I'm rubbing my hands in glee because this gives me a great chance to get back at Mr. Wogan for all those comments that he makes on his breakfast show about Blue Peter. Well, let's have a look at it anyway. I think it's an extraordinary likeness. I mean, it's got those familiar chubby cheeks, that sort of lovely blue eyes, that impish leprechaun grin, and the general sort of blankety-blank expression in the face. Coming down, a very chic shirt, sort of about size 18 collar, I think it must be, a very sort of fashionable button down. If we look at the jacket, I don't know which jumble sale he got this from down in Shepherd's Bush, but it's got a lovely BBC coffee stain on it right there. A lovely tie, and of course, his blankety-blank microphone as well. Well, now's your chance to compare the stuffed Wogan with the real thing, because here is the man himself, Terry Wogan. Welcome to Blue Peter. Come and have a seat.
An honour to be here.
What do you think?
I heard your crawling sentiments about Biddy Baxter, and I'd like to be associated with them as well. Congratulations.
You're a crawler. Thank you, seriously, very much.
Just in case blankety blank ever collapses, I'd like to think I could get a job here.
Right.
Probably.
This is a little bit taller than you, isn't it?
It is, really, but it's a frightening likeness, isn't it?
It's extraordinary. I mean, the face is brilliant. I mean,
well, but, pardon?
The face is brilliant.
You think so, do you?
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, he's better dressed than I am.
Yes.
His trousers fit better than mine. And he also... she's missed the stomach a bit,
yes, I think she was very kind to you there, actually.
Well, I think the hooter's a bit big, but I suppose it depends on the side you're looking at. You see, I have a big hooter that side and a small hooter that side.
So you have to make sure you get the right profile.
Yes, quite.
Yes, yes.
But, I mean, it's a credit to the lady. It's terrific. I'm delighted and honoured she should do something like that, because I'm amid distinguished company with that, aren't I?
Yes, I don't think you look a day over 66. Yeah.
What a nice man.
What about doing one of Jimmy Young? Good idea?
Well, yes, but you'd have to get the commode as well, you see, the mobile commode, because he very rarely stands up, because they're not his own feet, as you know. And you'd need the old mobile commode for him to sit in. It'd be very hard to capture his essential nature, really, which is one of appalling meanness.
Right, I think we better stop there. Terry, thanks very much for joining us.
A pleasure, Simon.
Good luck with your Wogan show.
Thank you. Very kind.
OK, well, Sylvia Garner, who is the lady who Terry was talking about, created this. She invented this technique. She's done 21 of these people now. It'd be very interesting to see just who she comes up with next. Perhaps it will be Jimmy Young. Well, over the water in America, someone's having a go at taking the mickey out of well-known personalities in a slightly different way. At a distance, you may well think that we've got distinguished company, perhaps even a VIP, perchance, here in the Blue Peter studio, none other than the President of the United States. But things aren't quite what they seem.
Well, for one thing, this Ronald Reagan can't say anything because he's inflatable. Just imagine having your own President Reagan. All he is a load of old air and rubber. Now, this is the rage in the States at the moment. It's quite a very popular gimmick that's selling like hot cakes. You could put him in your car, and as you drive past, people will stare in amazement as they think Ronald Reagan's sitting in the back. Now, if you compare him with a photograph, you can see that it's not a bad resemblance for an inflatable. Some people are even buying these as sort of burglar alarms. They're sitting them in their front room, and as the burglar peeks through the curtains, they see Ronald Reagan sitting there. It's enough to frighten anyone. Other people are buying him because they don't like Ronald Reagan. Can you believe that? And what they do is they blow him up, and then they just tip him upside down like this. Oh, sorry, Ronald. And they find his Achilles heel, which is here, and they pull out the stopper, and then they watch poor old Ronald Reagan crumple away to absolutely nothing. There he goes. Bye-bye, Ronald.
Trust the Americans to come up with something like that. But there's news of a British invention which claims to be far in advance of anything that the Americans have devised. If you are one of the estimated 30 million people visiting a stately home this summer, then it's very likely you're going to be shown around by a guide, someone who can tell you all about the history of the home or the castle and point out all the really interesting treasures. But at 13th century Thurnham Hall near Lancaster, visitors are met by a guide with a difference. He's a cavalier. He's 6 feet tall, and the crowds are queuing up to meet him because it isn't flesh and blood under those clothes, it's a robot.
Welcome to the Great Hall. I am a robot. I was built here by the owners of Thurnham Hall. My integrated circuits and microprocessor were designed for me by Lancaster University. It is my job to show you the points of interest in this room, and also to tell you about the people who have lived here. On the wall directly in front of me can be seen 2 portraits. The one on the left is of John Dalton, the man responsible for the fitting of the new stone facade to the original Elizabethan frontage in 1823. The photograph on the table in front of me is of the Cockersands Abbey chest. It used to stand in this room, but has now been moved to the Priory Church at Lancaster. Further along, in the right-hand window, we have the Dalton coat of arms. The griffin at the top of the arms goes back to the Holy Wars, where Sir Robert de Dalton, Knight Templar, slew a Saracen warrior who was bearing the griffin on his standard. Sir Robert was the illegitimate son of Edward III, which means that the Black Prince was his half-brother. I would like to thank you for coming and hope that you will enjoy the rest of your visit to Thurnham Hall.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for honouring us with your presence. What do you make of that, Goldie? Goldie's absolutely bemused by it. Never seen anything like it. Anyway, thank you for coming along. Well, it's not surprising to learn that the brains of this talking cavalier have been masterminded by an engineer. He's Mr. Stanley Crabtree. He and his wife have been restoring Thurnham Hall since they became the owners in 1972. And Mr. Crabtree said it took 3 months for him and his son David to build Thomas Dalton, as the robot's called. Now, his memory is just a normal cassette. One track is a voice recording, and the other holds all the signals to trigger the electronic circuits that, in turn, control the 5 motors which operate Thomas Dalton's eyes, his lips, head, and left arm. Well, I think it's a smashing invention, and Mr. Crabtree's dream is to build more and more of these robots, not for Thurnham Hall, though, but to sell. He says there's almost nothing they can't do, and to prove it, here's our robot friend to give you a short tour of the Blue Peter studio.
Welcome to the Blue Peter studio here at Television Centre. Many viewers will be familiar with the surroundings in which I find myself, so very different from my beloved Thurnham Hall, but interesting nevertheless. The studio is more drafty than my great hall, and I'm faced not by tourists, but by fellow robots, who I believe are called cameras. There is another robot called a boom microphone, which I am told will amplify my voice. As if I needed any such help, my voice is more than adequate. Way above these television robots, high in the rafters, there appear to be more than 200 illuminations. No wonder I am veritably roasting alive. Without wishing to be in any way discourteous, I will be more than delighted to leave the BBC and return to Thurnham Hall. Touché.
Very weird, very freaky, but very effective, no doubt. And now for a very good piece of news about our appeal for the disabled. It's just over a year ago now since the first of our 15 neonatal incubators was installed, and we've been having lots of letters about all the babies whose lives they've saved. This is Catherine Ellis. She was born 10 weeks premature and spent 5 weeks in an incubator at the Royal Sussex County Hospital. Well, here she is at a year old, very happy and healthy and bouncing in her bath. Well, every year, more than 30,000 student nurses join hospitals all over Britain to learn to look after babies, just like Catherine. A few weeks ago, I went along to St Thomas's Hospital here in London to find out about how they train. St Thomas's has one of London's most famous nursing schools, the Florence Nightingale School. But right from the start, trainee nurses work on the wards accompanied by a senior nurse. I was met at 8 o'clock by senior enrolled nurse Lorraine White, and she checked my uniform.
Actually, there are lots of different sorts of uniforms.
The senior enrolled nurses, like Lorraine, wear blue striped dresses with a red belt. In charge of the whole ward was Nursing Officer Deuce, and she wears a plain grey uniform and an attractive frilly cap. Lorraine pointed out some of the others and their differences as well.
Ones in the check dresses and the white belts, they're second-year pupil nurses, and they're doing a 2-year course.
What's the difference between those and the ones in the stripy dresses, like the one I've got on?
Yes, the ones in the stripy dresses are student nurses, they're doing a 3-year course, which is a more academic course. That's for the SRN.
Ah, state registered nurse. What about this one with a spotty dress on?
The one with the spotty dress, and that is Sister.
Love the
She's
hat.
in charge of us all.
And who's going to give us our duties today?
Ward Sister's going to give us our duties.
Fine. Any idea of the sort of thing we're going to be doing today?
Fine. Well, we've got a patient to admit. She'll be going into the bed over there. She's a little 5-year-old. We've got lots of beds to make. And we've got their meals to give out later, and they've got to
Thought it would be something like this.
An 8-year-old girl had an appendectomy 3 days ago.
The first job was to take over from the night shift. There are 3 shifts a day, 2 daytime and 1 nighttime. And it's important at these changeovers for the staff coming on duty to know how the patients are responding to treatment. So careful notes are taken about what's happening.
Sorry. Fix is Martin Downs, 8-month-old baby who had an intestinal obstruction, which he had operated on 4 days ago.
That's right. Can you look after Rachel in room 16? Make sure that you check her temperature at 10 o'clock. If she pyrexia, will you let me know? And would you look after Ashley Hill? She's a new admission. She'll be going into bed 11 and she'll need fully admitting.
Is she going to stay at the end then?
Right, she'll be
Arriving at hospital can be a very frightening experience for young children. So St Thomas's encourages parents and family to come whenever possible. Ashley was only coming in for a checkup, but for a girl of 5, the sight of all those strangers was just too much for her.
That's a nice normal heart. Can you just turn a little bit that way? Can I feel your tummy then? I'll feel your tummy where it is.
Bouncing up and down back there, can you see?
You're making him cry.
Next, she had to be weighed, and that gave me an idea about how to cheer her up.
Right, so this is now how much Ashley and Sarah weigh together. And that's how we managed to weigh Prince, but he's so big these days, I don't think we get him anywhere near the scales. There we are. That's it. Now you've been weighed.
That weighed 71.7 kilos altogether.
All together?
So that means we're going to have to weigh Sarah now to see how much you weigh.
I decided my weight could remain a secret, but at least we cheered up Ashley. Looking after the children is the nice part of the job, but there are lots of chores to do as well, and in Seymour Ward there were over 40 beds. It's very important that they're made properly so the patients are as comfortable as possible.
It's a sort of set method of doing it each time.
So if you strip this to the middle. And this one.
This one goes the same way.
Exactly the same.
I hope my mum's not watching this. She'll expect me to make beds like this whenever I go home. One bed made. That wasn't too bad, was it?
At 12 o'clock on the dot, lunch is served, again by the nurses. I was surprised to see that everyone ate round a table, just like being at home, because the more like home it is, the quicker the children will get better. Straight after lunch comes the drug round.
How many rounds a day do you have to make?
4. Morning, lunchtime, evening, and then 10 o'clock when they go to bed. Well, after they go to bed, really.
All those gallons of medicine for you to swallow. Bet you love it, don't you?
The medicines are always administered by the senior staff, like Sister Ella Scott.
We check that we've got the right drug first. And it corresponds with the dose on the medicine pot. There we are. And then we try and get Thomas to take it. After we check we've got the right patient. Thomas Mooney. And then we check that with the prescription
You have to check
chart.
that every time.
Yes.
Of course.
Especially with children.
In case they swap.
Drugs can be dangerous, and great care is taken to ensure that the children get the right ones. That's why at home it's important to keep medicines locked safely away, out of reach. Only when Sister Scott was sure we had the right prescription did she let me take over and give Thomas his tablets.
Oh, go on, let me shove it in your mouth. Go on. Oh, go on.
Then you have to make sure that they actually take the medicine and they swallow it and not hide it in their mouths. Or
Come
under
on,
the
let's
pillow.
have a look. Nice molars. I don't know where the tablet's gone. I think that's been swallowed. Well done, Thomas.
Then we go on to our next patient, Dean.
Great. You had your tonsils out just yesterday.
Not for the world.
Playtime is important too. The ward has a special play area where the children can enjoy themselves. If they had to stay in bed all day, they'd get really bored and wouldn't get better so quickly. So they're encouraged to be up and about as much as possible. As long as you bring her back to Ashley a bit later on. Is that all right? It certainly seemed to work. Most of the children had forgotten they were ill, and I was pleased to see that Ashley had settled down so well.
I'm bored. And play with me. What do you want to play?
Pardon?
They're boys.
Don't have to be boys.
Yeah, look, do you want to play?
Some of the children are very young indeed, and Lee was only a few days old. Bathing him was my trickiest job so far, and I was being supervised by nursery nurse Jenny Powell.
Now, if you want to dry his hair...
Got this handy bit of
There we are.
towel that we've already got back, and just dab him with that.
That's right.
Very gently. There.
Right, now, should we take the nappy off?
I was really looking forward to this. Okay, so if I lie him across like this, you've got all these handy disposable types, haven't you? Rather
Yes,
than
we-
the old.
Use the disposable.
So just pull this like that.
Right.
Here we go. I'm not gonna look. Oh, nice full one there. There. There we go. There, our little one. There. Now, what next?
Now, if you hold him round his arm with your hand.
Shall I just take the towel off?
That's right.
There. And hold him round there quite
There
securely.
we are.
Yeah.
Yes. You've got him supporting his head on your arm there.
Supporting the baby's head is very important, and Jenny made sure that I was holding Lee properly.
Right.
Into the water. Shall I put that under his bum or by his feet?
We normally just hold him
Like that.
That's right.
Sure. Here we go. In you go. Oh! Just squid it
I was
alive.
doing my best, but Lee didn't seem to think that was quite good enough.
Underneath there. Underneath there. She's got such strong legs. He's really pushing
He is
against the
strong.
side there. How old is he?
He's 6 days old today.
Yeah. 6 days old today. Ooh. There. Clean the old feet in between the toes. There we are. Move off down here a bit.
In the end, Lee seemed to enjoy his bath, and it wasn't long before he was dry and snug as a bug in a rug.
That's him finished.
It's fine.
Apart from a wet patch on my lap, I'm fine too. Is that all right? Shall I put you back in your cot now? Can I do that?
Yes.
Thank you. Come on then. Come on then. There we are.
Bathing babies is quite a difficult job which requires expert guidance, and I was glad that Jenny had been there to show me exactly what to do.
Go, Lee. There. All over. There you are, Lee. All nice and clean. There we are. Ready to go back to your mum now?
Once I'd returned Lee to his mum, it was time to go back to my other patients to say goodnight. I'd enjoyed every minute of my day at St Thomas's. Nurses are highly skilled and hard-working people, and I was proud to have been one of them, even if it was just for the day.
Night, everybody. Night, Sarah.
Well, they certainly are a very dedicated profession. Well, one of television's longest-running television programmes celebrates its 25th anniversary this year. It's The Sky at Night, and this is the book which is going to be published on Thursday to celebrate 25 years of stargazing. Well, it's absolutely full of fascinating facts about space and radio astronomy, some stunning colour pictures of spiral galaxies, and distant parts of the Milky Way taken through one of the world's most advanced telescopes. And on the back cover, there's the author and presenter of The Sky at Night, Patrick Moore. Well, Patrick holds lots of records. For instance, he's the fastest talker on television, and as well as being a top astronomer, not many people are aware that he's also a very keen musician. One of his favourite instruments is the xylophone.
Your talent. Welcome, Patrick. When did you first learn to play that, then?
Well, I never actually learned. I never had a music lesson in my life, but I've been playing a xylophone now for, I think I was 10 when I started, and that's 49 years ago.
Okay. Well, that tune was called Hurricane, and you composed that yourself, didn't you?
Yes, I did, some time ago. No connection with Hurricane Higgins.
No, because I thought it might be.
No, I'm afraid not. I do play snooker, but I think my record break is 9, including 2 flukes.
So when did you get into stars, Patrick?
Oh, when I was 6 years old, I read a book belonging to my mother, and it just caught my attention. I've always stuck to it.
Yeah. And, I mean, the first thing that any astronomer should buy is a telescope, of course, isn't it?
No, it isn't, actually. I think unless you can afford a telescope that's really good, it's far better to go start with binoculars. This, in fact, is my first telescope that I had when I was about 11 years old. I saved up for it. It cost £7, 10 shillings, which was quite a lot in those days. And this is a 3-inch refractor. That's to say the lens at the end is 3 inches across. And, frankly, I think this is the smallest size of any real use. And you can get smaller refractors, but, frankly, I wouldn't go for them at all. I'd make do with binoculars until you can get something like this, or a mirror telescope, a reflector, at least 6 inches aperture.
Well, we've got some film taken by a much more advanced telescope in an observatory in Arizona.
In fact, this is an old-fashioned telescope. It's the Lowell refractor at Flagstaff in Arizona, and that was used largely, although not entirely, for planetary research. It's a great instrument. I've used it myself many times. That was built over 100 years ago. Now, this is a telescope built earlier in our own century, the 100-inch at Mount Wilson. For many years, the largest telescope in the world. And that was used to show that our galaxy or star system is not the only one. There are plenty of others. It still is one of the world's best telescopes, although no longer the largest. Now, here we see the casting of the great 200-inch mirror for Palomar Observatory in the 1930s. It didn't actually come into action until 1948. And this remains the world's largest telescope, with a great mirror 200 inches in diameter. And that really is a colossus. And it's enlarged our knowledge of the universe immeasurably. And there we see the iris opening to show the great mirror. Really is a magnificent instrument. There's one larger, the Russian, but frankly, that I think is the best at the moment. And here we have a new generation of telescopes. This is going to be the Space Shuttle. In fact, the shuttle has already been launched. It's made several flights, as you know. And this is going to carry up a space telescope. And that will enlarge our knowledge considerably. The shuttle's already made several successful test flights. It's part glider, part spaceship, and part aeroplane. It takes off like a spaceship, it glides comes down like a glider, and it will launch the Space Telescope in 1985. And this is a 94-inch reflector, which will certainly enlarge our view tremendously.
Such exciting stuff, Patrick. What can we expect from our solar system next?
Well, I think the Space Telescope is going to show us a great deal, not only about the solar system, but about the more distant galaxies. And that, you know, is why I call my new book The Unfolding Universe, where the universe is unfolding in front of our very eyes. The next thing, of course, exciting is going to happen in the solar system is the return of Halley's Comet.
Yes.
And that's due in late 1985. It comes to its nearest to the Sun early in 1986. But I'm afraid, you know, although we will see it all right, it's not going to be very spectacular this time. It comes back every 7 to 6 years, but this is not a very good return, not so good as it was in 1910. And if you want to have a really good view of Halley's Comet, I'm afraid you've got to wait until the return of the year 2061, which you may see, but I certainly won't.
Now, there's another thing. You're going to Java, that's right, next year?
I hope to go to Java next year. There's a total eclipse of the sun there. That happens when the moon passes in front of the sun and cuts out the sun's light for a bit, and you see the sun's atmosphere. It's a wonderful sight.
It's going to happen right over Telegogo, which is a place I've visited twice this year.
I'm not entirely certain where Telegogo is, but I mean, Java's not all that big, and I think it'll be total from most places.
Well,
so I hope to see you there.
You should go there.
Why don't you? Don't worry, I shall certainly be there.
Yes, well. I could go there and see it. Who knows? We might fix it up.
Hope so, yes.
Right. Apart from Stargaze, have you been playing any cricket?
Yes, a bit. I haven't really got into my form yet. You see, the point is I had my 25th anniversary programme, as you know, and it seems a long, long time since I started. We did this 25th anniversary show called The Unfolding Universe, done the book as well, and it's taken up rather a lot of time, so I haven't really got into cricket yet.
But too many wickets, then?
Wish me a few wickets with my spin when we really get going. I certainly shan't make any runs.
OK, well, many thanks for coming along. We wish you another 25 years of stargazing.
Well, thanks very much. If I'm still here in the year 2007, well, it'll be fascinating to find out how much the universe has unfolded by then.
I'm sure you will be. All the best, Patrick Moore.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
We will be back on Monday and we'll have news of a Grange Hill star who's become a rock star.
Yeah. So see you then.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.